Paper leaks, protests, crackdown, and a resignation sums up the last week in India's capital. From judges in the Supreme Court to lawmakers in the Parliament, paper leak and police action on the protesters continues to be a major point of discussion as a new week commences. Now, as the second week of monsoon session began today, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh introduced the Paper Leak Amendment Bill in the lower house. Moments after the introduction of the bill, Lok Sabha was adjourned due to continuous sloganeering by the opposition lawmakers.
Speaker sir, I introduce the bill. विचार आए आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है. Amendment Bill 2026 to amend the public examination.
Under the amended bill, paper leak and related offences will attract 5 to 10 years of jail and 50 lakh to 10 crore rupees of fine. A special task force will conduct the investigation, which shall be completed within 2 months. The cases will be heard by a special fast-track court that will be established in every state and union territory. Any challenge to the verdict of the special court shall be filed by the petitioner and be heard by the High Court and disposed of within 90 days. Now, as per reports, the Congress and other political parties have agreed to participate in the debate on the Paper Leak Amendment Bill in the Parliament on the 28th of July, that's Tuesday. A total of 8 hours have been allotted to discuss this proposed bill. The opposition has been turning up the heat on Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The opposition leaders are now seeking to corner the government for the 20th July police crackdown on the student protesters in New Delhi and other instances across India. Leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, has written a letter to Amit Shah. He has demanded accountability for what he called a, quote, barbaric assault on students who were peacefully protesting. Now remember that unlike other states, the Delhi police comes directly under India's Home Ministry. On the legal front, the Supreme Court has said that the right to peaceful and lawful protests is constitutionally protected and mere agitation cannot justify a lathi charge. The 3-judge bench of Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, Justice Joymala Bagchi and Justice V. Mohana made the observations on mentioning of a batch of petitions before the Supreme Court alleging excessive use of police force against students who were participating in the protests across the country over the issue of exam paper leaks. The court observed that accusations of excessive police action should be independently examined and stressed the need for uniform police protocols for handling demonstrations across the country. Now, as far as the government actions are concerned, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already announced a high-level task force to overhaul the examination system under National Testing Agency or the NTA. The panel will be led by Infosys co-founder Nandan Nilekani. Its mandate is to strengthen the security, transparency and credibility of the examination process. Nandan Nilekani has, remember, earlier spearheaded some of India's biggest digital transformation initiatives, including the Aadhaar. The other members of the panel are former ISRO chairperson S. Somnath, former IB director Tapan Deka, IIT Madras director V. Kamakoti, former education secretary Anita Karwal and logistics expert Amrit Lal Meena. Meanwhile, Sonam Wangchuk, educator and activist who's emerged as a key face of the cockroach movement's protests, has been discharged from the hospital today. Wangchuk ended his 26-day hunger strike on the 23rd of July. He gave a message of peace from the Rajghat, Mahatma Gandhi's memorial.
भारत की जनता और विश्व की जनता से यही कहूँगा कि वो बापू के दिखाए हुए शांति के रास्ते पे ही अपनी व्यथा, अपनी फरियाद सुनाएं और उसका हल जरूर होता है, देर से होता है मगर अंधेर नहीं होता है, ये हमने देखा।
All right, let me welcome Mr. Sandeep Ghosh on the broadcast. He's a political commentator and author joining us live from Kolkata. Mr. Ghosh, good evening. Good to have you back on Race to Power. Can I start by asking you what you made of what happened inside the parliament today? The very same opposition that has been asking for reforms in the education system and cornering the government over the NEET paper leak protests has not been able to have a constructive discussion within the parliament over those very issues.
I wouldn't blame the opposition on this instance, Shreya, because obviously this particular bill is a bit of a damage control exercise on part of the government, and the opposition get into it straight away without brushing aside all that's happened during the protest. I think would have been rather simplistic. Now that they've agreed to do the debate tomorrow and allocated 8 hours, if they don't do that as well as that'll be another matter. But today, to underscore rather than just gloss over what has happened over the last week and say, okay, now that's over, let's discuss this particular bill. I don't think that would have been also either expected or appropriate. So I think there has to be discussions on the excessive use of power, how it was handled, and the rest of it. And it's good that if everybody is questioning about the excessive use of power, use of pellet guns, and all of that, that also needs to be voiced inside the parliament. Whether you do it in a disruptive manner or not, that's a matter of modality. But if that was raised and they want to get on to the more positive agenda tomorrow on the leak, on the bill, as well as on the committee, etc., which has been formed, I think then we are back to business, and that's how it ought to be.
So what you're saying, Mr. Ghosh, is that the opposition is right in saying that first, before discussing reforms in the education system, first we need to talk about what happened on the 20th of July between the police and the protesters, and therefore, what do you expect tomorrow, now that the opposition is on board to having that discussion, that debate within the parliament? Do you expect a constructive debate to happen, specifically from the government side, when it comes to accusations of police's excessive force against students?
I think so. I think both sides. I think government is also not taking, not brazening it out in terms of what is happened during that period. Everybody realizes it was not handled well, whatever may have been the justification or lack of it. So the government also should, I think, discuss it in a more, shall I say, holistic manner. And I think that is relevant also from the statements of the Prime Minister and various other people in terms of the concern for the students. Now, there has been, I think, realization that certain things were avoidable, definitely, or were not handled. So I think that's where if there's also an outreach between the floor managers of the government and the opposition, then there should be a healthy discussion. People have to voice the concern. And then I would think they ought to move on to the corrective measures.
You know, in all of this, Mr. Ghosh, the CJP held a press conference today where they said that we will be forced to return to protests if you don't withdraw the FIRs against student protesters. Where do you think, that lack of coordination is there? Because the government on its part says that we have agreed to all demands, which included the fact that FIRs and legal action will be withdrawn from, against the student protesters.
See, the worry I have over the CJP, this is a motley group. It seems like a leaderless group, unstructured group. So who is guiding them? What is that? They're all relatively, I would say, less mature people. So they could be impulsive, how they're being guided. So those are issues. But there again, it's like the government does have to play a little bit of sort of an elderly, or elderly is not the right term to use. They are between the two, the more senior or mature set. So they will have to reach out and have the conversation with them, which was done, I think, reasonably well after they decided to speak to them, and people like Mr. Tata, Jitendra Singh, or other people can come in. And now that the Prime Minister himself has spoken on social media, it should be possible to have, a sensible dialogue with them.
Okay, so let's wait and see what happens in the Parliament tomorrow and whether we will be able to address all the issues that the opposition as well as the government has been trying to raise within the Parliament. I'll leave it there. Mr. Sandeep Ghosh, thank you very much for speaking with us on WION.
My pleasure.